Okay, so here we are in Blender, and we'll be creating something like this. And this animation is pretty much made without keyframes, because if we can have a look at the rig, it's completely driven by empties that are following paths. And it's an IK rig, but as I mentioned, it's completely driven basically without keyframes. Not a lot of them, at least. Here I have a few keyframes, but they are just for variation. We really don't need them, but as I said, it's just, this is the empty that is driving the IK of this leg here, and it's just has a constraint, and it's following the path of that foot here, as you can see. And why we want to work like this, well, at least some animators like myself, is because you have complete control over the animation. And for example, if you want this foot to have a slightly bigger path, you can scale it up, and now the foot will be moving much more. And so there's also, you saw that leg stretching a little bit there. It's because the leg is stretching now. You can see, really a lot. You know why? Have a look at that. Because we have actually two sets of bones on top of each other, as you can see here. One is the IK group, and the other is just copying the rotation of the IK to fix the snapping that you can see with IK rigs. So here's two bone groups. The red ones with the color red is the IK rig, and the yellow bones is the rig that is just copying the rotation to eliminate the snapping and the stretching which is going on in the IK bones. So if we have a look again, you can see that it's the red bone stretching. It's stretching because to eliminate the snapping. If you don't have the stretching, if you select that bone, here you can see stretch is 0.363. If you don't have that stretching on, you see that it will be a considerable, very much snapping going on here. And you don't want that, of course. So you add a little bit stretch here, and that will fix it. But then you don't want the foot to, of course, grow like that. So to affect the actual mesh. As you can see, it doesn't, because if we slow down a little bit, because it started over here. Because of the extra set, which is these yellow colored bones, is just copying the rotation of the IK, but without the stretching. So if I hide that bone, you can see this bone here is copying the movement, but without the stretching. So that's how we fix that thing. And so the whole benefit of, as I said, doing this without, as you can see, you have full control. It's that if you build the whole animation with keyframes, as I see a lot of other animators do, which is quite common, it's kind of the standard way, but then you have a cluster and a mess inside here, and you're pretty much stuck in a corner, because as an animator, at least I don't like to see a million keyframes in here, because it's like just super annoying and it's kind of hard to redo everything. Whereas if you do like this, you can immediately, for example, raise the feet. This is connected to a floor constraint. You can, you know, do like that if you want. You can like kind of make it jump like that. You can, for example, if you want to make the tail have a bigger swing, you can just scale up the swing path there. You see, now it will have a more area to you know, swing over, and you can change the speed of the tail anytime you want. You can drag this down, and now it can swing really fast if you want, or like that. Let's say we want to swing it like that, so that you can do that without messing with the keyframes, because at least I don't really like to mess with a lot of keyframes because they're just so time consuming and annoying. So this whole animation, as I said, as you can see, is just driven by empties following paths, which is kind of cool actually. And the neck, you can see, has a movement just going back and forth following the circle there, the path circle. And so it's this bone that has the IK. This doesn't have an extra set because it's not snapping anyway. It's not a big movement, but it's the tip, you know, these outer parts of the rig that has the, you see, these bones and these, which has the IK constraint because, and it's driving, you know, this inner parts here. If you can, I can show you. Okay, this is selected now. It has the IK, and it has, this is the target. This just is empty. Well, so that's why you can control them from the object mode, because these are objects, of course. These empties, they are the IK targets, as we will create. And so when you move these targets, you know, these bones in the chain will follow that bone. And so that's just the introduction. I think, and I hope you can understand how it works. So we can just, and you can see that it's just following, it's going around its own paths there. And this mesh is following the master empty here. This is driving the whole rig up here. And so if you want to be able to create this without any keyframes, then you're free to follow this tutorial. So we'll start by